I was sitting here Saturday thinking about my mum. My mum was born on the 13th of February 1935 and she died on the 12th of June 2000. That's 23 years ago, which is a long time. But my mum was a great influence on me, her work ethic and everything else. And I wrote an obituary which I read at her funeral, which I'd like to share with you. Margaret Brewer. Margaret Brewer, a mother to all. My mother did more in her life than we, any of us, will ever know, in a true Christian manner. She neither bragged nor boasted, but if you will forgive me, I would like to do some boasting on her behalf. Mum gave my brothers and me a gift, the gift of life, for which she campaigned hard in her own life. Mum, having experienced the joy of motherhood, albeit in the face of being a single parent, could not condone the loss of precious life brought about by the sometimes selfish decisions of those left in her own predicament. Margaret fought to bring up her three sons, Sean Joseph, Michael Desmond and Paul Anthony, alone. She was assisted by her own mother, Margaret, her dearest brother, Brian, and sister Maureen. She was helped with the handful which three growing boys can be by her youngest sister, Nora, and her husband, Peter, my godparents, as she studied at Mabel Fletcher College. Margaret was a single parent in a time when it was so much less acceptable. She was told by the state at that time, regarding the precursor of benefits, that she could have none, not whilst she had two arms and legs. Mum used to say, "Where there is a will, there is a way," and "Where there is life, there is hope." Throughout so much of her life, she demonstrated these idioms time and time again. Margaret had a sense of timing. She learned timing early from her father, John Kelly, who called her Skinny. In her ongoing education, this was reinforced at college, when, late for a lecture on catering due to her commitment to us as boys, she made an excuse to her tutor that her arrival in his class was better late than never. The tutor gave her the retort which she so many times repeated to us boys: better never late. Mum was always on time, and if she was late to come to visit, it was because she was being on time for another in the family. Like the rest of her family, we are always on time. Just like her sister Eileen, that is, Sister Cecilia, who, even though she had duties to God and to her community, was on time to be by her side. Mum's timing was so perfect that she went to meet her Maker on the anniversary of her mother Margaret's birthday. Mum told of a happy childhood in Old Swan, of a mother who cared, a father who loved, of a house, the Old Swan pub, with 2 staircases and room for everyone, of brothers and sisters who had individuality, and how precious that was. War came, and she saw her brother Desmond depart to fight, her sister Eileen leave to join Des in the senior service, and their departure left their younger brothers and sisters, Bernard, Maureen, Raymond, Margaret and Nora, to face the bombs which dropped around Old Swan area. Family values, that is, being together, was learned from her father, who refused to evacuate them. Mum loved to cook and to look after her children, and this became her life's work to cater for everyone. She was scolded by her father for offering to look after the children of a lady who later became her oldest friend, Mrs. Bertha Salt. She was very firm with Bertha's children, Beverly and Belinda, and although only a slip of a girl herself, honed her parenting skills on them. Mum often had 2 jobs to make ends meet. She managed to combine another's need with her own. Indeed, she used the skills she had learned when her father owned a chip shop in Mill Lane to help Mrs. Salt, whose chippery was off Derby Lane, Old Swan, whilst adding a few extra coppers to the kitty. Until her brother Brian taught her to drive, Mum walked everywhere, or bust. She was walking throughout the bus strike in Liverpool in the 1970s, across town to the Blessed Margaret Clitheroe School near Sefton Park. Shanks's pony was exercised hard before Mum could drive. As boys, though, we never went without. We may have been the last boys in the parish of St Oswalds to wear short trousers, but as our height in comparison to Mum's diminutive size will vouch, the larder was always full. Food rained in our house. Our trips to Mrs. Harvey's shop, Hale Farm Dairy, on a daily rota for around a gallon of milk would have broken the bank in many of household. But Mum knew there was importance in an upbringing, and it's not chattels which are important, the newest bike, the latest fashion, but love. Love is the food for the soul, and good cooking, food for the body. Mum worked her way up in the Liverpool Council School meals department, and she lifted many a churn of milk delivered to the kitchens across the area early in the morning. Mum started in 1962, the year after I was born, working as a temporary general assistant in Broad Green, and later that year she moved on to Edgware Street. Mum transferred to Blessed Margaret Clitheroe in 1963. She served food at St Oswalds, where I went to school, to many a child, and started there when I was 7 in 1968. In 1969, Mum was appointed assistant cook at St Hilda's in Ollet Road, and returned that same year here to St Oswalds with the same position. In 1972, Mum was appointed cook at St Oswalds, and in 1975 she was earning a massive £22.24 a week. Working at St Oswald's school kitchen served the purpose of being close to her 3 sons in their formative years, sons whose sense of pride would not allow her to collect them from school. No, we preferred to walk home alone, and we later learned, though, that she followed us home to make sure we were okay, as we were very dear to her. Mum used to cry, we've been told, because she had to leave us and go off to earn money at work. A closeness like this made it impossible for her to avoid being called to the playground once, as she had learned that I was involved in a fight after lunch. She was horrified, but proud to learn that her youngest could look after himself. Her night schooling and hard work brought promotion, and she was involved in pioneering cordon bleu cooking at Greenbrook in Green Lane, Old Swan. Her ability to work under pressure and not be distracted was put to good use when the BBC filmed at this unit for the series The Caterers, where she was used in every scene shot at the unit, preparing food for the kitchens across Liverpool. This was where she earned her nickname Super Cook, on account of her apparent indispensability. This programme were now proud to have on video. She continued her hard work and was made a supervisor, later a group supervisor by 1978, looking after school kitchens around the Liverpool area. Mum was both relieved and proud to be able to retire after 34 years of service. And on the 1st of October 1996, the Mayor of Liverpool made a presentation of a certificate of meritorious service to the Liverpool City Council. Our dear friend, Reverend Mother Imelda, observed this last week that Margaret had all given us talents. Sean has a great talent for music. He plays many instruments, and Mum had encouraged him to do so. He has intelligence and the ability to craft words to express his feelings. Michael has a great organisational ability and is a stalwart in any crisis. He was encouraged to learn guitar and later played the drums. He's as steady as a drum beat. Mum gave me, Paul, the gift of communication. I learned no instruments from a teacher, but I have a voice to tell and a voice to sing. Margaret gave us 3 other gifts. The gift of knowing God. She was a devout Roman Catholic. She taught by example how to know Christ. Christianity, as Sean observes, is a reinforcement of humanity to all mankind. The gift of inquisitiveness, how to question our environment, even God, to use what is available and how to learn from our mistakes. Trying and making a mistake is a success, as it was formulated in the motto, adopt, adapt, survive. The gift of laughter. Nobody ever knew Mum's inner feelings outside of her own front door, and in times of trouble she had a smile which greeted everyone, and anyone who knew her as she shopped around in Old Swan. A smile so broad and true, her smile waved away anyone's troubles. She greeted us all with her smile and laughter the Thursday that we were called to her side. That laughter carries us on. Many in the dining room at Broadbank Hall those last few days may have thought to complain about my brother and my raucous laughter. Laughter and a smile draws a veil over the troubled heart and is often called the best medicine. At least all its side effects are beneficial, except for the stitches. A smile is quite a funny thing. It wrinkles up your face, and when it's gone, you'll never find its secret hiding place. But far more wonderful it is to see what smiles can do. You smile at one, they smile at you, and so one smile makes 2. I'd like to share these words with you, which were written near Otterswell Promenade the day I learned with my brothers what the future held for Mum. The river has drawn me to its banks, and I sit in silence before its serenity. A fog obscures the opposite bank, a mist as grey as the Mersey itself. Behind me, the traffic and the world whoosh by. Somewhere in the murk above I hear an aeroplane fly. Before me the sun has forced its light through this greyness to alight its rays on the glassy water. In the distance, a lonely bell tolls and marks the time. The gulls swoop low across this smoky mirror of my mind. Sweet birdsong plays its tunes to the lapping beat of the tide, calming my thoughts in the serenity of now. Although I cannot see across the river, or the future. I know I love you, Mum. So let's enjoy today. These thoughts I write on a foggy Thursday morn, and seem as misty and muddled as my mind. But I know we have times yet to enjoy, and places we can be. As kids, we were more interested in ourselves and always resisted the benediction, the novena, the Stations of the Cross. We tried to stay out as long as we could playing football, 3 and in or out on our bikes. Mum, bless her soul, always called us to come by entreating us with the words from the New Testament. Can you not watch 1 hour with me? The words of our Lord Jesus in Gethsemane. I'm glad to say that in her final hour, we did.